Hey friends, welcome back. I'm Professor B and I am going today to give you a overview of some of the terms or vocabulary for the Markdown pane in RStudio. So one thing I always tell my students, we're always going to start from the top and work our way down. So you can see over here we have this portion and it's in between the 1 and 6, and that is called the YAML header. So this allows you, essentially, when you create a report, to have a title, an author, a date, and there are other things, and we'll get more into what the YAML header is capable of in future videos. But right now, I want you to focus on the fact that it is bookended with 3 dashes. So here, the 3 dashes. This is our YAML header, and you can think of it as similar to like the cover of a report. So in a Markdown, the reason we use that is because it has the capability of producing a report. So it can produce that report in either a PDF form, an HTML form, or a Word document form. So that's what that is. And that's what this beginning section, that YML header, is telling RStudio to do. Create a PDF document. That's what it's set at right now, but that's not the only option. Then in this option, when it's in the white, this is essentially where you can write what you're doing. What am I doing? So it is no rules. And I say that, and we'll talk about more later what you can do. But essentially, when you are in a Markdown pane, you have 3 separate components. You have the YAML header. It has rules. Like, there are aspects of this that if you do it wrong, it won't produce anything. You have this word editing portion, which is in the white, that you can create different looks, but there's no rule that will keep you from creating your report. Like, you can't do anything wrong in there. I say that loosely, and we'll talk about it more later. Then in this code chunk, so we call this portion from 10 to 12 a code chunk, there are rules. So code chunks are always bookended with these backwards apostrophes. And then you have curly brackets. And inside the curly brackets, it tells you what language the code is being written in. Now, on my channel, I'm teaching you to use the language of R. But if you added code, so up here in this green chunk with the plus sign, you can add and you can use different languages. So that's why in the curly bracket, you have to say what language you're using. I am always going to be teaching you in the language of R. So if I were to add this chunk, I said R, and you'll notice again in the curly bracket, it has R because that's the language I'm writing in. So we're going to get into more of what the code chunk does. That's where we'll be focusing mostly on this channel. We'll be talking about in future videos how to edit the text in here so it can be bold or strike through, or you can have bullet points or a numbered list. And also in future videos, we'll talk about some of the things that you can do in the YAML header. But those are the 3 things that are in the Markdown pane. And the last thing I want to tell you before you leave today is this function for the knit. So when you knit, that is what creates your report. So it takes all of this stuff down here in the Markdown pane and puts it into a beautiful report for you. And we're going to work on this and make some really cool stuff in these videos. And you'll notice you can knit to HTML, PDF, or Word. But right now I have it set to Word. So if I just click the knit button, it's going to create something for me. Here it is. And it has the title, the name, the date, what am I doing, and then our code. So that's what we'll be working on. And in future videos, we'll go into more depth. If this video was helpful for you, click subscribe and like. See you later.